It's time to go. I'm all dressed and I'm running a little bit late as usual. It's about 9:45 right now. I'm almost like an hour behind, but it's cool. I think I'm still good on time. It's time for me to say goodbye to my apartment and to New York City. It's so crazy. Honestly, the way I feel right now, I'm a little bit nervous, and that's because of all of my overweight suitcases and all that stuff. I just want to get there, get through security, get my bags on the plane, and I think I'll feel a little bit better. But I would be lying to you if I tell you that I'm not a little bit nervous right now. I don't know why, but I am. So it's time to say goodbye, and it's time for me to head to the airport. Goodbye, apartment. I'll see you never. But it was nice having you. It was nice knowing you. I grew here. I learned a lot here. I got wiser here. I've learned tons of lessons here. I want to just show you guys around really quick, so I'm going to give you a little tour. So it's a basement apartment. It's extremely small. Some might consider it a studio, but I consider it a 1-bedroom. So that was just a door to go down the basement, and then there's a steps right outside that you go upstairs, and all of like the boilers and stuff like that is behind that door. And yeah, so this is pretty much it. My little teeny windows. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to move, was because I really don't get sunlight in here, and I need sunlight now. I just had 2 little windows, and this is how much space my bedroom was. And this was the closet. It's very tiny. See? Extremely tiny. And then into the bathroom. This was the shower. Just like a little sink. And the toilet was over here. This was the kitchen / living room area. I already told my landlord that I'm leaving some of this stuff here because I didn't have any more garbage bags. So he said it's okay. And then there was another window in here. The one thing I hated were these pipes. Every time I was to film, it would annoy me because I just hated the way that it looked in the videos. You guys probably wouldn't be able to tell, or maybe you would, I don't know. But I tried to hide it as much as I could. These are just pipes all around the apartment. So this is pretty much the space. I've really grown in here, and I was so excited when I moved in here, when I got this apartment, like extremely excited, because before that I was homeless, and then I was living in the projects, just like renting a room in the projects before I got here. So, you know, of course I was happy to have my own space. You can see the cabinets are extremely outdated, and I really outgrew the apartment. And this was the refrigerator, and the refrigerator had no freaking light. It was so freaking bootleg, but I made it work. Over here was my little stove, and what really sucks was I really wanted to bake some stuff, but this is such an old stove that it would smell. And this was like my little sink area. So yeah, you guys, this was pretty much my home for 4 years, and it's time to say goodbye to her. Bye. Anyways, let's go to the airport. So I was wondering, what can you do for me today? The Delta representative asked me to ask you guys because there was another flight, but at $600. Oh boy. Here's the deal. I know y'all like, Chin, why are you in a hotel room, girl? This journey is just a lot of obstacles I'm going through. However, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all, and I'm gonna get into that in a little bit, but let me just tell y'all the reason why I'm here. First of all, let me take it back a little bit. So this is my first time booking with Delta. Every time that I travel, I usually always go through JetBlue, but I booked with Delta this time, and the only reason why was because there was no direct flights from JFK to my destination. And I don't really like to do no layovers or, you know, connecting flights and stuff like that. I just never did, and I just rather just go where I'm going. Anyways, ended up booking with Delta, and it's the worst experience ever. From I even got to the airport, it started off on a bad note. I had all these luggages with me, and they're heavy because they're overweight. So anyways, I got to the airport and I kind of knew this was gonna happen. I knew I was gonna need some kind of help, but I thought somebody, you know, some workers gonna be outside and kind of like, you know, to help to assist people. There was really nobody there. So I saw this one guy, he walked out, walking around, and I'm like, excuse me, can you please help me, because I needed help to put, you know, the bags onto the trolley. Can you believe this man literally looked me? There was a lady standing there too. She was a little irritated because she went through the same thing I went through. It's a funny thing because when she helped me, she was like, well, good luck, because my flight is canceled because I can't even check my bags in. So she was in the same predicament that I'm in, the same that I was. So anyway, she ended up helping me, but she was already irritated over there with her own situation, and she saw the guy literally looking at me and watching, and I'm asking him, you know, I asked him, can you please, you know, help me put these bags up? You know, I'm asking, thinking, all right, you know, he's about to help, just because we're human and that's what we're supposed to do, look out for one another. However, it really just opened up my eyes. I mean, I know this exists, but it's just like, damn, it's not like a stranger is talking to you just randomly. I mean, that is the case. However, you're at work. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you didn't want to help, you just literally just ignored me. And that was just like, wow. He didn't help me. The lady ended up helping me. So that was the first thing that I was just like, you know, but I can't really look at it and say, you know, just judge the whole thing based off of this one worker. But obviously you're going to, because I'm a paying customer. So, you know, you're looking for certain services. You know what I'm saying? People are at work. You would think you'd have some kind of like professionalism about it. Or even if he couldn't help me, he would try to assist me in another way and say, you know, try to grab somebody else and try to help me. He literally just looked at me and just like, basically, you, in all terms, that is basically what he was saying. Basically, you, I don't gotta help you, I'm not getting paid for this. That's how a lot of people are. This is the type of mentality that certain people have. They come to work, or I'm going to work to go make my money, right? But they're really not doing the job because they're just there for the money. Fast forward now, I'm pushing my trolley, I know I'm late. With Delta, I didn't know that you have to check in an hour before. When I was going to Jamaica, I learned my lesson then. They really helped me when I was going to Jamaica because I was late as well. But before that, when I traveled before that, I was late as well. And I was able to go on. And to my understanding I was able to go on because it wasn't an international flight. Now if it's an international flight, they close the baggage areas an hour before. But apparently with Delta, their system is a whole different story. You literally have to be there just the same way as an international flight, even if you're going domestic. So I didn't know that. If I knew that, I would have definitely been there way beforehand. But anyway, so that's the reason why I'm in the hotel right now. As you guys saw in the clips before, I was on the phone. Website that I booked through, I tried to call them to see if they can put me on a different flight with a different airline, because it's, you know, when you book through these third-party companies, they have different airlines that they work with. But being that I already had checked in online last night, I wasn't able to. So basically the ticket was running already, so they weren't able to do anything. So I had to contact Delta personally, and they were able to get me the next flight tomorrow. They're trying to charge me for that as well, and I'm just like, oh man, like this is really a nightmare right now. But she ended up doing what she did, and she accepted whatever she had to accept, and I didn't have to pay anything pretty much. So my ticket rolled over for tomorrow at the same time. But let me tell y'all something. This is not a fun trip at all. This is supposed to be so happy. I'm happy, but with the bags, I really wish that I would have shipped every freaking thing. No lie. The only thing I wish I would have just had was my carry-on and my handbag. That's it. It's a struggle. This really brought back memories to when I was homeless. This is really how it was. Like, I was basically homeless, going into hotel rooms, except for this is a different situation, thanks to God. but it really brought back memories, you know. Like I really had all the suitcases, and it was just really, it wasn't cool at all. So this isn't a fun, it's not one of those fun experiences right now. I just want this to be over. When I tell you I am okay, and I'm telling you this as the God's honest truth, I am okay with not getting on that flight today, because you know everything happens for a reason. So when it happened, you know, usually before I used to be like, damn man, like fuck, and I would be so angry. But now that I understand how the universe works, and that everything is always working out for your own good, when I tell you not one cell in my body moved from anger, not one. I was okay with it, totally. I was just like, maybe they could have got me on like a later flight. That's what I was thinking, but no, but it's cool. I'll take this. Everything is all done. It's straightened out for tomorrow, and that is just that. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm not gonna dwell on it. I just always it's all about your perspective, and you just have to understand that everything happens for a reason, and the universe is working in your favor at all times. Nothing is happening to you, everything's happening for you, in that order. So everything cannot be right all the time. There's gonna be things like this. There's gonna be obstacles. There's gonna be disappointments. That is just the way of life. And I think once we start to live with that, we don't get mad at stuff like this no more. We just accept it and we move on. I'm gonna be in here all day. I'm about to get some food though. I don't know if I'm gonna go downstairs, because there is the Hilton next door, and lady was telling me that they have food there, because I asked her if they had like room service, but she said the next door has. I don't really know if I feel like being in people's faces right now, honestly. I'm all the way up top. I'll show you my view. This is my view. That is the Belt Parkway over there. I was actually looking at my makeup because I was not liking the way that my foundation is looking, and I came to the understanding that I need to get a new foundation. I thought it was fine, but when I looked in the mirror here, I was like, oh, I kind of see it's very tinted yellow. But yeah, it's just not showing up on camera really well. I don't know, me and foundations just have a love-hate relationship. Anyways, so I guess I'll catch up a little later when I grab some food. I'm in a hotel room all by myself. I should have been at my house right now, like seriously. I would have been landed, okay? But it's cool, it's cool. Anyways, y'all, I'll talk to you later. All right, so I'm just gonna go and get some food. I'm gonna grab some food next door because I'm starving. I got the room key, got my phone. All right, let's go grab some food. Oh my gosh, I left the most important thing. That is my card. How am I gonna pay for my food? That was, what was that? Chin. We good to go now. Now I forgot my mask. Right, we should be good to go now. Let's go. Let's go eat. Oh, you know what? Hand sanitizer, because I don't know if I'm gonna eat over there. Wind and cold equals this weather ain't for chins. Run. They were so quick. This was done in like 5 minutes. It's 3:54 right now. And this is all I'm gonna have. This is just a shrimp house salad, vinaigrette dressing. So I'm about to grub on this and I'll see y'all later.
Takeoff to touchdown, 2 hours, 5 minutes, cruising altitude, 36,000 feet. Aboard.
We're now almost ready to go, so please take your seat, fasten your seatbelt, store your tray tables and carrying items, ensure aisle armrests are in the resting position. Thank you.